JD here, and as you can see, we are back on F1 23 as always, and we are back with some league racing action. This time at the finale of the FRL season at Abu Dhabi. And first of all, said it in many of my recent videos, really do apologise for the lack of uploads, especially with the league racing, the hot laps and setups as well. As you know, or many of you may know, that my PC has been a little bit of a nightmare recently, which I'm very pleased to say has now been replaced, and I'm very much hoping that I can get back on track on what I actually want to upload. And after this video here, I will be redoing my hot lap and setup guides for every single track.
It's got
and
no pace
the goal
right
is
there,
to try
man.
and get out all the tracks in very quick succession. I think it's probably a good thing now, because the setups have been updated, we are a little bit more into the game, so hopefully that is something you are looking forward to. But into this finale here, overall the season has been very up and down. Had 2 wins at this point, managed to get back-to-back wins earlier on in the season, taking the championship lead. But as we arrive into this finale, we are actually in 4th place, and if we outscore NSX Cucumber, then we can actually come P3 in this championship, which isn't too bad considering we've missed, I think, about a couple of races at this point. But yeah, Abu Dhabi is a track that results-wise has actually been very good to me. Won quite a few races around here, but in terms of my actual pure pace, I think this is a track that I think I struggle at quite a bit. So, and that was certainly the case, as you can see in this video. Qualifying, I just couldn't really put a lap together, and even when I felt like I did a fairly decent lap like I was doing here now,
How have I lost so much time there, man?
yeah, I just wasn't understanding why I was losing this time. Yes, the setup is definitely a little bit more the lower downforce side, because I think it is very beneficial for the race, which you will be seeing in this video. But for the qualifying, just find it very difficult to put a lap together around here. But since then, it's amazing how sometimes you can spend a day away from a track and come back to it and you just find a lot of time. But on this day, I was definitely very much struggling to put one together, and coming across the line, we're not even going to improve. It's a 21.9, which is...
Man, my pace is fucking shit,
And
man.
yeah, you can just hear me say there, we're pretty disappointed of that, and that is P13, 6/10 away from Kagwaski, and SX Cucumber is sitting in P2, so pretty terrible qualifying there. But coming into the race, I was actually slightly optimistic that we could still do something. So 5 lights, and as they go out now, really the key around this circuit, in my opinion, is just to be as patient as you possibly can. And I think in this video, that's really what I want to stress out to people, is it isn't always the fastest drivers who win races. It is often the drivers who are the most consistent and actually make the right decisions, knowing when to be aggressive, but also knowing when to be conservative and disciplined as well. As we get a bit of a love tap from my teammate behind. So you've got 18 drivers in this field here, and yeah, right here now, I'm just very conscious about trying to save my battery as much as possible in this race, and that's why I've gone for a bit of a lower downforce, because it is very easy to run out of battery around here, and where you're pretty much going flat out for quite a bit of the lap, especially in this new layout. So we get a bit of a tangle with this Aston Martin, but somehow managing to survive for another day. But yeah, around here you definitely want to try and save the battery as much as you can, and if you have a faster car in a straight line. The thing is, in qualifying and in time trial, you can get away with a higher downforce setup because you have the DRS always helping you. You have your unlimited ERS, the unlimited hot lap. But in the race, that is not the case. You have the ERS that you actually have to manage. Tyres are always going off. You won't always have access to DRS as well. So I definitely find with myself that even though I'm quite far away in some of the qualifying, quite often in a lot of races, the gap is a lot closer. If not, sometimes I felt like I've had the ultimate race pace over some of my competitors. And here immediately at the start of this race, I felt pretty content. We've only made up a couple of positions so far, but the goal right now is just to keep myself in this DRS train and try and save this battery as much as I possibly can. You can see these two guys going side by side, so I saw this as an opportunity to maybe get 2 in 1 here. So still not using the battery, using a little bit here, just get a little bit of momentum. And you can see the straight line speed you have. Although Marius has the DRS, that shows how much faster our car is in the straight line. It is an absolute rocket ship in the straight line, and yeah, managing to get the route done. So up into P10 now, and we're trying to get within that DRS zone of this little group up ahead of us. And you can see we have managed to get within that DRS zone, but at the cost of using all of our battery. And because our battery is underneath 10%, if you look at the delta on the top left, you can see we're just losing so much time in the straight. So that is the penalty around here. If you're using the battery excessively, you're going to be punished. And if you're under 10% of the battery, you're going to be losing a lot of straight line speed. So you can see this group up ahead is really fighting quite a bit. So that's definitely swinging in my favour. And was just hoping that they keep on fighting. You can see they're almost going 3 wide for this section. A couple of these guys have their red lights flashing. So everyone is struggling with the battery situation around here. And I knew if I was struggling a bit, then other people were going to be struggling even more. So go down the inside here, and no idea what's happened there, but we managed to get 3 cars in 1, and now we're up into P7. But the problem is the leaders have a little group of their own, so the top 6 have managed to get away. And at this point of the race, I felt like the maximum I could do from here is probably going to be P7, because the gap is too big. They're slipstreaming each other in the DRS. There isn't really anything I could do. So right now, my mind was just to try and save the battery again as much as possible, and hopefully someone behind me like Zorro or Stefano, if they had the pace to maybe close in this group and we can just tag along in their DRS, that was really the goal at this stage. But you can see even FVR0 has basically no battery himself. So yeah, I felt at this stage P7 really was probably going to be the best we could do. And you can see we're not even interested in overtaking. There really is no point being the car ahead at this stage of the race, so we're just going to sit behind him and see how much battery we can muster up for the next coming laps. But you can see on lap 10 here, just staying behind him, once again the gap is about 4 seconds up to the guys up ahead. So are we going to overtake this time? I think the answer is yes, since our battery is not under 10%. So getting this move done, hopefully he doesn't really fight it too hard. And I was hoping maybe if I could start closing on this top group, but yeah, I think it's going to be pretty unlikely because the guys up ahead are very, very fast around here. So lap 11, we're just swapping and changing. You can see we're losing time to this lead group, so this battling isn't really helping too much. But you can see right here now, I'm not even interested in using this battery whatsoever. I'm just interested in losing as little time as possible. So I'm actually going to re-overtake this guy, because I felt like my raw pace was definitely faster than Zero. So I've just decided to just stay ahead of him, almost losing the car here. So that just shows tyres do go off fairly quickly around the circuit. But this is where the pit stops actually start happening. So CPI Volcano has pitted. He's actually got a 3-second time penalty, so he's going for a bit of an undercut to try and negate that penalty. So we're up into P6 here, and let's just get again during this lap. We've got TF Blackbox, who elected to start at the back of the grid. He's actually a PlayStation Esports Challengers driver, so one of the fastest drivers on the PlayStation platform. And yeah, we're not really going to battle with him too much. We're just going to stay behind. You can see we've actually saved quite a decent amount of the battery over these last few laps, so we're almost up to 40%, which is going to be a lot higher than what most people have in this field. So right now, I'm just hoping that we have a miracle thrown at us and something happens where it can actually bring us back into this race. And as you see, Blackbox has now pitted, so we're going to go up to P5. Don't know if anyone else has also pitted. If we go across the start finish line, yes they have. So up into P4, up into P2. So it's only Zelly who is already the champion of this league, I believe. He's the one who goes there, but now he pits next lap. So in my mind, I just thought I have absolutely nothing to lose here. I'm probably guaranteed P7 absolute best. Why not just go for the softs towards the end of this race? So that's exactly what I was thinking in my mind as we are going through here. But at this point, the virtual safety car has now come out. And in my mind, as you hear me say here, what you're seeing on the screen here now, I thought that was game over because that could have been an opportunity to save time. But as I just say that, the safety car has come out completely, which is the miracle that I've been looking for. If it was a virtual safety car, I wouldn't have really gained that much. I would have lost out completely because then I would have had to pit as it finished. But now with the safety car, I've effectively got a free pit stop and I'm barely going to lose any positions, and I'm going to have the freshest tyres out of everyone on track. So now we can go for the soft tyre. Some people have continued because they want to maintain this track position, but now I'm on the soft tyre, and the soft tyre is absolutely rapid around here, and we only have 4 drivers ahead of me. We've got CPI, Volcano, and Kwiatkowski is also pitted, but Volcano has a 3-second time penalty, and we know with our straight line speed that we are going to be very, very difficult to overtake. So from the start of this video, I thought there was absolutely no chance of winning this race. Now, I had a feeling inside that we actually have an opportunity to win this race. So as the safety car goes in, pretty much everyone gets caught off guard here. There's a really big gap between all of the drivers. So, yeah, everyone I think was just sleeping a little bit under there. But now we have an opportunity to win this race from P13 on the grid, being given that lifeline of that perfect safety car timing. But we do have to deal with CPI, Volcano, and Kwiatkowski behind. And I know Volcano is a very aggressive driver. He's one of the fastest drivers on the PlayStation platform, and I know he likes to use his battery, so I was suspecting that he would probably be attacking me here. So in my mind, until I get on the back of Zelly, I'm not going to be using this battery. I want to save it for the remaining laps. You can see Volcano is already using his here, so as expected, going on the attack, because again, track position is going to be so crucial. DRS is not activated for 3 laps until after the safety car has come in. But you can see, as I'm using the battery, he's using his, but he cannot compete with my straight line speed. So I knew that I'd be saving more battery than him, and I'm going to be very, very difficult to overtake us. We're going around this long left-hander. He's got more downforce. You can see he's all over the back of me here, but there's absolutely no way, no space really for him to overtake me. So maintaining his track position, and if we can just hold him off, then that is probably going to be the biggest obstacle, is holding back Volcano and Kwiatkowski behind me from overtaking me. So you can see now we're actually closing in on these medium runners up ahead of me, and yeah, we've survived the attack from Volcano in this lap. You can see Kwiatkowski setting the fastest lap of the race, but I think we're going to have one final attack from Volcano in this sector 1, because you can see we're really close in on Zelly, the champion of the league. And you can see Volcano's going for it again, so we're going to leave him space on this inside, but he does that. He overcooks it, hits Zelly in the back, which really compromises his speed and exit. And now I saw this as an opportunity to put some cars between myself and the other soft runners behind me. So we're going to be using all that ERS, and you can see Zelly actually really does not fight this at all. He knows that I'm on the fresh tyres at this stage. He's already champion, doesn't really need to prove anything at this moment in time. So we're already down to 37% of the battery, but now we've got 5 and a bit laps of this race, or 6 laps of this race to go. We are definitely in a great position to win this. So you can see Kwiatkowski is really attacking Zelly here. We're just trying to maintain his battery. So I saw this opportunity again. 2 cars going side by side. Let's see if their straight line speed prevails coming through into this one. So using the DRS, now the ERS, you can see Rent has the DRS, but look how fast we are on the straight line. We are just so fast, and absolutely crucial to get this move done now. Trying to get into second place into this race. Managed to get 2 cars in one straight here with the use of our soft tyres, and we have just about got into second place. And now we are in the absolute box seat. We have 3 cars between myself and the next soft runner, and the more this race goes on, the closer the medium and softs will become. So right now I'm in the absolutely perfect position to dictate this race. And right now I'm just thinking, I wasn't even thinking of leading this race. I was thinking about saving the battery for the very final lap, because that is where it matters. As long as you're leading going around the last corner, that is all that matters. So moving on to lap 26 here, we are just trying to save as much of my battery as I possibly can. So I wasn't really interested in overtaking Carl. I didn't want to use any of the battery until the last lap. You can see Zelly and the guys behind me are struggling to keep within that DRS zone, so they're going to have to burn a bit more ERS. You can see Volcano has retired from the session as well, so the other soft runners said that their soft tyres were dropping off, but with me, because we're running this lower downforce setup, a bit more of a stable setup, it just works really, really well in the race. So we actually got to overtake Carl, because it just makes sense to overtake him. We've already got the momentum, we're going to easily get back on the racing line, and it's just to try and limit the time loss as much as we possibly can. So we're not going to use the battery to try and break out of this DRS zone, because I had a feeling that he probably had a lot more battery than me at this stage of the race, since he was always leading the race. I felt like he didn't really have to use much of the battery, so we're going to again conserve it as much as we possibly can, see how much we pull away in this last sector. If we make it to almost 1 second, then I probably would have used the battery, but since he's managing to hang on fairly nicely, I don't think we are going to do it. We have to really think of the long game in this race, not about the short game. And as we're coming across through the last corner, you can see the gap is only 6 to 7 tenths of a second. So yeah, we're not going to push the battery here. We're going to keep it nice and patient. And again, it's knowing where to be committed and where to be disciplined at the same time. So he's going to easily stay within the DRS, so we're not going to use any of it here. But moving into lap 27, again, we're not really pushing this at all. He was quite fast in a straight line as well, which you are about to see. Don't think he used any battery for this overtake, so the DRS, that shows how powerful it is. So in my mind, I definitely didn't want to be leading into the last lap. I wanted to get him on this second DRS zone. So the pace where he just overtook me there, that's exactly where I was planning to overtake him. If I overtake him in that first DRS zone, then I think he'd probably have the speed and the grip in the tyres, because the tyres are now coming a bit closer together in terms of performance. I felt like he would have the speed to actually re-overtake me. So coming into the penultimate lap, or just about to finish this penultimate lap, starting the last lap, now we just have to stay as close as I possibly can. Don't give him any breathing room, because I don't want to use any more battery than necessary to actually stay with him. And I can confirm that he was on about 60% of the battery coming onto his last lap, so he has about 20% more battery than me, which is actually quite significant. So he's using a little bit of it here, but we need to be smart with this. We need to think about that second DRS zone. That's all that was going in for my mind. So using with the battery, but then turning it off straight away, because I knew my car was the fastest in a straight line. So we're going to use the slipstream here. You can see he's trying to extend that gap, so really crucial to get a good exit to put him underneath some pressure. So force him to use the battery when he doesn't want to. So we're using a little bit here, but then we're going to turn it off quite early, because if we use it more, we'd probably be running out on the second DRS straight. So force him to use his battery, do a little bit of a dummy move to his inside, and that makes him go quite deep into the left-hander. So now it's just about getting the perfect exit, get a really, really good exit from here. And now he's using the rest of his battery. Look how fast we are going to be in a straight line. So where do we go? Go a little bit to the right, but then go back into the left-hand side. He leaves room on the inside. And now we're up into the lead, but we've overcooked it slightly. So hopefully we still have a little bit of grip in these tyres. And we have managed to make that move stick, doing dummy again. And fair play to Carl, actually left quite a bit of room on that inside. And all we have to do now is just control this car through the last few corners, and we are going to do a 13th to first. Coming around this last corner, Q headphone users, you might want to mute your volume now. Yes! Woo! And it's actually felt like a very, very long time since I have screamed like that. And yeah, admittedly, in my last few races, and if you're watching the stream live, was very, very frustrated with the qualifying. I definitely haven't had as much time as I would have liked on my hands recently to really elevate my performance. So I knew there was a lot more potential in my driving, and I was definitely getting quite frustrated at myself. And yeah, after that qualifying, I felt like this was probably going to be a very long race. But that just shows, obviously, you need a bit of luck as well. but just the persistence, the patience, the discipline, that shows you don't always need to be the fastest driver. And sometimes if you make those right decisions, like we're on the softs with Volcano Kwiatkowski behind us, just being patient, not overcooking it, not overdoing it, and you can show what can actually be achieved. And that actually resulted in me coming home in P3 in this championship, which, I definitely want to be aiming to do better next season. Thank you so much for the support on the videos. And please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. As I said, my main priority now is to really do these hot lap and set videos, do a lot more tutorials for you guys, especially since I've got this new PC. So thank you so much for the support, and I'll be catching you very, very soon. Peace.